Okay guys, welcome back to game number 2 between Refugees and Project Dota. Game number 1 being an insane game, probably one of the biggest comebacks and nearly throws and then comebacks again that I've seen in Dota history. I'm Reddit, joining me as Prophecy. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, well, I mean, after that game, hearts are pumping because that was some pretty crazy stuff. There's somehow Refugiati pulling victory from the jaws of defeat there in the end, as Project Dota somehow just wasn't able to get enough damage onto that Ancient to finish it off before losing.
I honestly think it, came down to the, Wind Ranger. Probably should have just focused while the rest of his team was keeping them at bay. It was so close. I mean, even GG's being called and then realizing, oh wait, no, we actually don't have to call GG's. We've already burst through the Aegis. Winter Wyvern dropped the second curse. There's no more cheeses left. We've just killed all of them. They don't have buyback because 5 minutes ago, well, 2 minutes ago, their entire team bought back and Refugee just went straight through to actually win the game. It was an insane game. Let's see if Project Dota can learn from that game and actually come back winning game number 2, forcing this to a game 3. Or if, Refugee just builds or just goes with their win, actually using their win to boost their confidence, to boost their morale. I mean, it's always a mind game. Dota is a mind game, and as soon as you have that first win, you just are a little bit above the opposing team, even though you're at the same level.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to take into account how much damage that might have done to Project Dota's spirits, because to lose like that is pretty crushing. So
Definitely.
it's a rough one, and it really just depends on how they're going to show what kind of fight they show in game 2 here up against Refugiati.
Well, let's have a look here. The Winter Wyvern being banned out now by Refugees, as well as the Queen of Pain, Doom, followed up by the Wisp. So Shadow Fiend Dazzle being picked up by Project, once again favoring that Dazzle pick to start off with. Project Dota actually banning out the Wisp this time. This does leave a lot of heroes in the pool though.
Yeah, it does leave quite a few heroes in the pool. I mean, Wisp being gone, there's still the Ember Spirit. There is Dark Seers available here. We could even see a Tusk. Now, Tusk's Night Stalker, maybe not the best dual lane combo, but it is still a pretty potent thing to deal with on any lane, so you don't really want that to happen. Refugiati, however, will steal the Wind Ranger used by Project Dota in game 1 against them.
Yeah. Now, I think it was Capitalist that, I think it was Cap or it was Winter. No, I think it was Winter's game that he was casting in, BTS. He said if Tusk is not banned out, it's the best second phase pick. It's not worth a first phase pick or ban yet, in his opinion, but it's the best second phase starting pick. So let's actually see if Tusk does make it through the pool or not. The Slaughter is being banned out now by Refugees. Lich as well by Project Dota. Quite unusual picks or bans coming through here, but I mean these guys know each other. It's a Romanian scene, so every single I'm going to say country or every single area has their own type of meta that they follow. Of course, that also changes with patches. But the Ember Spirit being banned out now by, Refugee. And I honestly like that because Ember Spirit, in my opinion, is probably one of the best, heroes in Dota at this point.
Yeah, he's extremely potent, and the fact that you're generally running up against him, you'll generally try and pull it out till the late game where he really just starts to blow you away. But he can also do a pretty significant amount of damage in the early stages, set up those kills with the bowlers, get easy lockdowns, and I mean he's quite a pain to deal with. Generally put onto the safe lane these days, but obviously with the lack of Linas and Leshraks in the mid lane at the time. He has seen a slight resurgence in mid-play. Lina is, however, going to be Refugee's third pickup here, so I wonder if they run her as a support.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because I would then probably say Wind Ranger, I mean, is probably still one of the best mids in the game, but a Shadow Fiend can actually go toe-to-toe with a Wind Ranger at around the level 3, level 4 mark, especially because if you do get in a little bit too close, even if you do try and win run out of it, the Shadow Fiend can get you with that long range, and it does do quite a bit of damage. Maybe they might put the Wind Range in the safe lane with the Lina in mid. Otherwise, we might even see a Night Stalker Lina lane in the off lane to try and secure the Night Stalker a little bit of levels and a little bit of farm. Keep in mind, it's only a Dark Seer that's going to be the offlane for, Project Dota and up against the Spectre. And just because of that, you need to put pressure on a Spec early, because if Spectre actually does get, let's say he actually goes for that Vanguard, otherwise just goes straight in for that, Radiant. If he can't get that around the, pre-20-minute mark, you're going to have a very tough mid-game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I want to see a Spec Radiance anytime soon. It's sorry, not a Radiance, a Vanguard. The Vanguard is pretty terrible on a Spec these days. The better, so I do hope we see that come out. The Bane comes out. That's actually might mean that we're going to see a Lina Bane combination on the supports. But I do agree with you. I think Lina might have been a better pickup here for the mid lane against the Shadow Fiend. She's easily able to set up kills and damage on the Shadow Fiend. It's a lot easier for her to farm than the Wind Ranger is. Obviously, she is more prone to ganks than the Wind Ranger, but I still think Lina might have been a bit of a safer bet here up against the SF in the mid lane. And again, Project Dota very, very, very light on any form of lockdown, and that's a bit worrying because again, Refugiati could just get off to a fantastic start, and this game is not really the kind of game where Project wants to allow Refugee to get off to a good start. Project needed to get off to the good one in game 1. They did that. In game 2, again, if Spectre can take them to the late game, yeah, sure, they can win it. But those early stages are going to be a rough one, particularly if Darkseer is going to get shut down and Shadow Fiend as well.
Yeah. Well, last pick coming up here from Project. The Tusk was banned out by Refugee, and Project banning out the Anti-Mate. So thinking that the Lina is actually going to go in that support role. It's going to be quite interesting to see because, okay, well, the Spirit Breaker is actually picked up now. I wanted to mention either the Spirit Breaker or perhaps a Bounty to try and put pressure on mid itself. But Refugee, if we see an Earthshaker pick up now, we will know that it is a Lina mid. I mean, Earthshaker might not be a bad... Well, okay, no, never mind. Juggernaut. That's quite an interesting pick because with the Spectre Illusions, you're losing quite a bit of your Omni/damage. And the way people normally skill and build Juggernaut these days is not the old school right-click Juggernaut where you'll actually go maybe 1 into spin, 1 into healing, 1 into your crit, and then the rest is stats. Now it's actually maxing out your spin. So it's going back to the old way you used to play Juggernaut and relying on your ultimate quite a bit. And up against a Dazzle, a Darkseer that can actually vacuum you through that, Spectre Illusions, it's a very risky pickup here for me.
Yeah, but I mean, it does also have an inbuilt form of BKB, which is, I think, one of the reasons why they would have grabbed him, since a lot of Project Dota's damage in the early stages is going to be that magic damage, and they're not going to be looking to take it late. I mean, 30-40 minutes, if the Spectre's even in the region at that stage, RFG's in some pretty significant trouble. But for right now, it does look as though RFG is really just going to focus on that early to mid game, about the 35-minute markers, I think, when they're going to be looking to finish it off. And they have heroes that are pretty potent in that point. It does look as though we might be seeing an aggro try. I mean, we've got 3 heroes heading down here, but maybe...
That's quite interesting.
No, it's just going to be a jungle invade. I don't think there's going to be anything else fishy. Yeah. Spectre does already have the dagger up, so she will be able to
introduce the side. Introduce the side of RFG for us quickly before we see any fights.
Yeah, man. Sorry, let's just do some invites. Intros quickly. For the side of RFG, we have Immortal Faith. He's running that Night Stalker at the front there. Claudio will be picking up the Wind Ranger this game. Powerpuff on the Bane. Hoodoo picking up the Juggernaut. And Koala Cola on the Lina.
Well, good luck. Have funs have come through now. It is going to be Kai on the Spectre. Meanwhile, Inuyasha on the mid Shadow Fiend, Flash on the Darkseer, NTRP on the Dazzle, and of course, Mitza on the offlane Spirit Breaker. So, well... Actually, that's a number 4 role, Spirit Breaker. Sorry about that. Actually seeing Immortal Faith on the Night Stalker. This is going to be a carry, well, probably a solo safe lane Night Stalker. Nope. Okay, Hoodoo's actually running top. So they're actually going to be sacking Hoodoo top and maybe dual laning at mid and dual laning at bottom.
I think it's
aggro.
I don't think they're going to dual lane mid. That would be a little bit of excessive waste of time for the Wind Ranger. I mean, yeah, you can get kills on the Shadow Fiend, but they're going to have a Dazzle hanging in the area as soon as they see 2 there. So I don't think it's worth Claudio's time to have a backup there. Probably just running the dual lanes up top and on the bot lane.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised. I mean, you can easily run aggro with the Juggernaut, Bane, and Lina because if you get the sleep off into the stun, that's always an instant kill if you actually have the Juggernaut. So I'm quite surprised that they aren't sending the Night Stalker top solo with an aggro tri-lane on the bottom lane with the Juggernaut instead of the Night Stalker.
Yeah, I think
that
it's
old
probably
wombo
because
combo.
They don't really have any effective way of harassing the spec at that stage. I mean, yeah, the Juggernaut can certainly farm, but they're not really going to shut down the spec at any point. So if you run the dual lanes, you at least get the levels, which is pretty critical on all your heroes, and you can still do something to the Spectre, rather than overcommit on the Spectre and then just, you know, force him to TP top lane where he might very well get XP anyway.
Oh, don't you think you can just instantly kill the Spectre with a sleep into a stun into a spin? And if he just comes back into range again, you just rinse and repeat. There's no lockdown from the side of Project, so they can literally do that every single time Spectre comes in.
Yeah, but they have a dazzle with Grave though. I mean, yeah, it certainly can work, but the problem is if Spec gets off the dagger, they're not really going to be able to catch him in any way. They don't really have slows as such. I mean, yeah, the Night Stalker has a tiny slow, which is 2 seconds, so maybe they have a chance, but I still think it's much more likely to just, you know, shut down his farm as best as possible. I mean, they got 3 down here anyway, so they could very well end up blowing him apart.
Yep.
With just these 3.
Well, let's have a look here. There's going to be a tri-lane versus the Spectre safe lane. It's going to be very difficult. Middle lane, though, it is Dazzle that's going to be here. Probably just going to try and heal up the Shadow Fiend. Try and make sure that the Shadow Fiend just stays alive for the first few levels. Top lane, though, Hoodoo's going to have a very difficult time, and instantly support TPs are coming on top, and it is going to be a Lina. And I mean, you have to be careful because Lina's stun into Juggernaut spin might actually mean a kill. And oh, there you see Spirit Breaker just charging onto
Audio mid lane.
Well, actually onto the middle lane.
Immediate movement onto the Wind Ranger.
He has to be careful because there is actually going to be a double raise coming through if they do manage to catch him. The TPs are coming through. The stun is actually there on the Wind Ranger. There's a no! The raise actually missed. But they do manage to get the kill. The sleep is onto the Shadow Fiend. Are they going to be able to get anything more from this? The long range actually missed, so unfortunately I had to try and run in a little bit further, but they did manage to get the kill nonetheless. So Project off to a good lead.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker got the longest right click in the world, I think there. That was pretty crazy, considering he is melee, that he landed like a 300-400 range attack, and they might actually get another kill here as Immortal Faiths get caught out on the bot lane, and I don't think our Night Stalker friend is long for this world. He's going to get caught out and should be finished off. Their mids are just doing a good job on trying to slow him down, but he does get off that void, keeps him alive a little bit longer. Dazzle will get the kill with, of all things, the Poison Touch at level 1.
I mean, the Poison Touch, I mean, a lot of people just skip the Poison Touch. Well, I'm lagging a little bit there. The Poison Touch, a lot of players do skip it, but actually showing that it was worth something here because if that last tick didn't come through, he probably would have been able to heal up since he did have a full healing self up on the Night Stalker. And top lane, has top lane been abandoned now?
No, looks like Flash is on his way back there.
Well, he does have an invis
creeps, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, he had the skill in with NTRP had the the skill point in reserve for the Poison Touch, so he decided pop that. Make certain that you get the kill, get the slow onto the Night Stalker as another charge comes through, and we could just see another death onto the Night Stalker here. Immortal Faith not looking good, and death number 3 for the side of RFG, and that is only 3 minutes into the game. So a bit of a rough start here, and we can already see Project has decided, they've not taken the route of feeling sad for themselves in after game 1. They're coming back with a big play, and Claudio might very well eat another stun in mid lane.
Actually using his wind run and going aggressive up against Inuyasha, but unfortunately just one more raise needed. Is he actually going to be in range? Nope, just one right click. I mean, they brought both the supports up here on this top lane now, so that's leeching a lot of experience off the Juggernaut. Immortal Faith is, he's still level 2 on the Night Stalker. I'm not quite sure about this rotation because basically previously the Spirit Breaker was here on the top lane with the Darks here, but that at least just meant that the Spirit Breaker was not charging anywhere else. So they were busy winning mid, they were busy winning bottom, and then they moved the supports up top. Now they've lost mid and they've lost bottom. Oh, is there going to be a stun onto Flash right now? Just one more hit needed. He does try and run away, but the last long right click coming through from the Lina, and Juggernaut might actually drop from this because, oh no, very close. Actually forcing a skill into the healing ward. Power of the Orb of Venom.
well played there by the Lina, since Mitza realized that the stun was coming through, so he had to turn back there, and that was just enough to save Hoodoo's life. And very, very important, since they lost the offlaner there, and that was quite a bit of experience going the way of Hoodoo and Koala Cola. Not able to get any sort of trade for their death there, and Project will be looking to make something happen here. They do have Mitza hanging around, so he's probably going to be charging, at the very least, Hoodoo in the next minute or so.
Well, let's focus here on Spirit Breaker. Hiding around here, does have a Iron Shell up, so I think this might actually just be a charge onto the Lina. Yes, the charge is onto the Lina right now, and Lina might well trying to start up on top of herself, but this is double Iron Creep just going her way, and unfortunately they are trying to go for more. Might actually be able to get the kill on Flash. One more hit needed. He does salve up, but the salve gets cancelled straight away. The Juggernaut does actually die from the right clicks, and this might actually be Power Puff dropping as well. Just needs one hit. Unfortunately, that's a 3-for-1 trade-off. I mean, this is going horribly wrong for the side of RFG.
Yeah, this is snowballing hellaciously out of control now for RFG, since they're just getting completely dominated. Yeah, the double Iron Shells just completely wrecking the lane. They can't really do anything. Mitz is so damn tanky that you can't finish him off either. Hoodoo's going to come in now, but I mean, he's only level 4. He's got no real forms of damage anyway, so what the hell does he actually do here? It's a very, very rough situation for him, and Inuyasha has basically had all the pressure relieved off him in mid lane as well, so he's sitting pretty at the moment, 24 and 8 in terms of last hits and denies, and that makes even more pressure for Claudio to start winning this lane, and it's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, well, bottom lane, they actually do manage to get the kill on the Spectre. You know, basically putting both his supports back here on the bottom lane, knowing what they had to do, and Dogs here, he does have level 2 up in Surge, so he should be able to get out of that one alive. They're still diving pretty heavily though. And the charge as well coming through from Night Stalker. Well, onto Night Stalker.
Yeah, and they realize it's taken them a little bit too long to actually get a kill there, so charge will still come through, and they actually might just turn around Power Puff? Nope.
Well, let's see if they do manage to get anything from this. They will most likely just back off. I mean, looking at the last hits and the denies, it's 31-8 here on Inuyasha on the middle lane on the Shadow Fiend. Juggernaut not doing too badly for himself. Hoodoo's sitting on 27-9, 26-3 on the Wind Ranger, 23 on the Spec. So Spec did lose out quite a bit, but I mean, also did manage to get a kill. And I mean, I don't like looking at net worth this early on, but it's still just under 2,000 net worth at 7 minutes in for the side of Project. So Project's early game, once again, I mean, they showed this in, you know, game number 1. Their early game, they're extremely strong.
Yeah, the early game has shown to be very, very significant. And I mean, they've got pretty decent aggression coming out of just the Dogs here and the Spirit Break. I mean, the Spirit Break has really been the one to set up just all kinds of nonsense for his team, as it does look as though they might be charging top lane in the near future. Down on bot lane, however, NTRP going to get caught out by Immortal Faith.
Oh, the Grave.
The Grave. Not going to TP himself out of trouble since he is slept. That'll be his life.
Yeah, and they actually might want more. Spectre, though, I mean, you would want a lot more for. Oh, wait, though, top lane, though, they are actually going straight onto the Lina. Lina does miss the Grave, and unfortunately, Hoodoo might actually drop from this as well. No 17% coming through just yet. But the Omni Slash actually latching, but there was just no one, or there was just nothing left after that. And now there's the Nether Strike, the Nether Strike coming through from the Spirit Breaker, as well as the wall dropping. So that's another 3 dropping for the price of none.
Yeah, just this aggression that the offlane is able to put. I mean, this is why there is such a high premium placed on the Dogs here, as well as the Spirit Breaker. I mean, Spirit Breaker got a nerf, and he's still, you know, one of the top heroes picked in the patch. And I mean, that should be very, very scary for RFG, because this is basically when Project is not necessarily at their strongest. Their Shadow Fiend hasn't really been able to get a massive amount done. He's farming the lane at the moment at 8 minutes in. Spectre has basically been shut down, so it's really the Dogs here and the Spirit Breaker just hard carrying this top lane at the moment, and RFG are not getting a whole lot done when they desperately need to get things done, because they very slowly, well, I wouldn't say slowly, but they're pretty quickly falling behind, and that's not the kind of lineup that will do well from behind, with Project scaling a lot quicker and a lot faster in that 15 to 25 minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, your Juggernaut, you threw a lot into that last pick Juggernaut, to try and surprise the enemy. However, your Juggernaut sitting on a lower net worth than the offlane Dogs here at this point. Now, we all know Dogs here will get his fall, but you're normally hoping to be still above the Darkseer, and even with the supports moving top, feeding quite a few kills now, this Darkseer is sitting on level 6, sitting third on the net worth. I mean, the top 3 are all on the side of Project, being, believe it or not, the mid, Shadow Fiend, yes, and then it's Midsa on the Spirit Breaker, and then it's Darkseer on the offlane. So this offlane and this roaming Spirit Breaker is just proving to be, you know, detrimental to the side of RFG.
Yeah, the Spirit Breaker has done fantastic work though. It's good communication by his team that they know they can take these early fights, and unfortunately RFG's been caught with their pants down a couple of times. I mean, those kills on the bot lane there with the Night Stalker. Well, Night Stalker was alone at that point. That can't be happening. If you have an aggro try, that aggro try needs to be down there the whole time. So I really don't know why they had the Lina and the Bane down there for like half a second, and they TP'd the Lina up top lane, then they TP'd the Bane up top lane, and they didn't get a kill. So it was just bad. I don't know, like RFG made a couple of bad decisions on the rotations, and it ended up costing them big time.
Well, a lot of the guys on stream are asking, you know, why wasn't a default win given, because it was a fake GG call. Guys, the rules, as per Esports Addict just said, the game finishes when the Dota engine says it's finished. So in other words, when an ancient dies. Now, you can call GG to start an ancient countdown, or, you know, to start a forfeit countdown. That does not mean that you have forfeited. That literally just means that you've conceded, but if one person decides against it, then it's against it. So in any competition that you play on, or that anyone plays on, please always keep in mind, the game ends. Oh, hold that thought, middle lane. There's a shackle that doesn't latch. The game ends when an ancient is destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not up to us to decide that anyway. But yeah, I think it's also
basically reading the rules that they just posted.
Like yeah, so I mean, it was only one guy going down, and they were able to get the fight in the end, and it went their way. Hoodoo is going to get attacked here by Flash, takes out the ward at the beginning, and yeah, Hoodoo's going down once again. He's going to try and spit his way out of trouble, but I don't think he's making his way to safety anytime soon. Immortal Faith TPs in, they might get the kill onto Flash in response.
This is a problem, because they might actually get a second kill.
The dots here, but the rest of the team is now rotated in mid to realize that it's time to leave, and he's actually going to get caught by the Bane ulti, and that should be the end of his life.
Yeah, and there's no TP up here for Flash either. I'm wondering if he's going to buy out or not. Yeah, he buys out. He goes straight for that headdress, and unfortunately he does.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's given space and time for Kai to, you know, start that recovery. He's back up on the last hits board. He's topping, well, close to topping it at the moment in terms of the rest of the team. They're not looking too bad. Again, pressure also coming on the mid lane, where Inuyasha will get that tier 1 tower. So, I mean, even though they do trade 2 very, very farmed heroes up on top lane, it's not the end of the world, I don't think, for RFG. It was for Project here. They get themselves a tier 1 and significant damage to the TP, well, to the economy of RFG, since that's TP, I think 4 heroes up to the top lane to get the kill.
Plus, it just relieved all the pressure that they've put onto Spectre up until that point, and well, Spectre's just busy farming off. Of course, you know, the Desolate damage does actually go to creeps right now in the jungle, so you can jungle up on quite fast with a Spectre. Of course, it's not the same like an anti-mage, but you should be okay. And Spectre's sitting now on 3,400 versus 2,800 on his counterpart on the Juggernaut. So all the pressure just being relieved off Spectre, even though they lost the 2 top, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get another kill here on Claudio, which is, again, what the hell is going on here? I mean, RFG, they're just falling for this hook, line, and sinker every time, and they saw the Darkseer running in at that point. So that is a mistake that RFG can ill afford at this time. They just gotten, you know, a couple of big kills, and now they're going to trade their most farmed hero once again to the jaws of Project Dota. And I mean, Project is just starting to rip them apart now. And again, we've said this, or I've said this multiple times, that, you know, RFG can't afford to get off to a bad start here. This is not the kind of lineup that is going to do well when Project is running at you with super farmed heroes. They don't even have the mech yet to 5-man, and Shadowfiend's not even going that way. He's confident enough to actually farm the dire jungle at 11 minutes in. He's going S and Y now, so they're going to look to fight early and fight often here as Project.
Yeah, and we are seeing a charge coming through onto the Wind Ranger. The thing though is, you're so far up at this point, and you have a Spectre and a Shadow Fiend in your team. And now they actually want more. There's 3 heroes here up for the side of Project. The Shadow Fiend is there. Is actually going to charge in for Requiem. The Requiem is charged, does quite a bit of damage here up until Claudio. And well, now they're actually going in. Are they going to be able to get the double raises coming through? That's 2 heroes down from RFG. And I think they might just want more. Very good Requiem, just standing here. They didn't know he was hiding just behind the trees. And the double raises meant the Lina, well, basically both the 2 supports are dead, and they might actually just go for more. The Windrunner just pops instantly, Heal Bomb, as well as the Nether Strike. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you do if you're RFG right now?
It's just a monster right now. 7-1 and 7 at 12 minutes in. He's just basically blowing RFG away before they can really get onto their feet. I mean, there's nothing they can do right now. They've got no way of actually taking a fight because Kai will just TP in from the other side of the map. Again, I don't know why he's actually going for what appears to be the Vanguard. Yes, Vanguard makes him fight early, but it doesn't make him do any damage early, so I don't understand why he's going for that. I would have been much more pleased to see the Radiance, since, you know, he just TP's in, he's already got Iron Shells there. RFG won't be able to survive that kind of magic damage that's basically just passive the whole time in the fights, and it's looking grim for RFG right now. They don't really have any kind of hero that's going to be able to survive this kind of aggression. Immortal Faith doesn't have enough HP, he's got the armor, but the rest of the team fairly light on both, and not looking great for them at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, let's see, bottom tower is going to be pressured out here by Claudio. Claudio, of course, going for, is that going to be an early Maelstrom for the Windrunner? Or is he actually going to go for a very late Midas?
I think it's a Maelstrom. Midas is not going to help him a fantastic amount. I mean, it's a recovery item, but he needs to be able to do damage in the near future, and it doesn't look like a Midas is going to be all that worth. You know, if you have the space and time to farm, sure, Midas you can maybe get away with, but
yeah, but you need 20
you're up
minutes
against
at least.
Project with a Spirit Breaker that's just constantly charging you, a Darkseer that's, you know, shown the inclination to get involved in every fight at the drop of a hat. So yeah, Midas at this stage would really just, I think, signal the end for RFG if he did pick that up.
Yeah, and maybe just hoping for a little bit more wave clear so that they can try and defend on high ground. Well, let's have a look here. Bottom lane, there's going to be pressure out a little bit here. Top tier 2. Bane has to be careful because, I mean, they can just with these, well, if there's a charge on top. But I think they'll be okay. I'm just trying to think here how RFG can actually come back from this.
They come back from this, they need to take better fights here. Claudio's going to get caught out, and he's going to use the shackles, so that'll lock Flash down, but we've got a charge coming in as well, so this fight is going to break down as the ulti comes through from Spectre as well.
And well, they actually do manage to get the Spirit Breaker stunned up on his charge, and well, now it's going to be a counter initiation. The shackle unfortunately does not latch, and everyone just decides to back off. Flash, of course, does have his Wall of Replica up. He does have a mechanism if he just wants to mech up and go again. But there's a charge coming through right now. It is going to be onto the Wind Ranger, but unfortunately a shackle this time actually does latch and turn onto the Spirit Breaker. The mechs actually use the Laguna Blade, is used by the Lina, and they still haven't managed to kill off anyone. Fortunately, Spirit Breaker might be the first one that, well, first one to drop. That is actually a 1-for-1 trade-off, but everyone else from the side of RFG, they're busy running away. Nightstalker might actually drop right now just from the Iron Shell. Nope, it is actually going to be a Shadow Rays coming through. That's a 2-for-1. Unfortunately, it looked good for them, but they just get picked off. And you know, the Shadow Fiend is pretty damn tanky. Having that Sanjay up, we'll have a full Sanjay Yasha up right now if he wants to buy it. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually go for a rush within the next minute or two, and then just try and take down all the tier 2s, go for the next rush and go high ground.
They're going to spot the double damage now. That might actually tell them that it is time to rush, but no, they decide not to. I do agree with you. I think a rush would have been fantastic to get. The S&Y is not flying out. Pretty used for something else, so a little bit of inefficiency there, but by and large, Inuyasha, yeah, I mean, going for the S&Y now means that, like I said, he can fight early and fight often, and that's exactly what they need to do. They keep the pressure up on RFG, don't, you know, fall back into, oh, we can win the late game with the Spectre. Use the Spectre's ulti every time you need to, get those fights going, and RFG will never really even be able to contest you if you keep this pressure up on them.
Yeah, no, definitely. So let's have a look here. Dazzle, anywhere close to that medallion? Nope. Um, let's have a quick look at the net worth. I mean, the top four here are from the side of Project. 8,500, 6,200, 5,700, 5,100, and then it's 5,000 on the Wind Ranger. I do hear a charge coming through here onto the Night Stalker. This is probably just to keep vision. He does actually see an invis rune, so... Do you think Project's going to do the same like they did last game and throw away the mid game here? Because RFG do know how to play the mid game quite well. They played it previously. They were patient. They forced Project to actually make mistakes. However, this game though, Project actually has a late game lineup. So they have a Shadow Fiend, they have a Spectre, and Spectre does have a casual Vit booster up. I think going for that Radiance now, sitting on 2,800. Or do you think just going straight for Heart?
I don't know. Heart, I think, is a little bit of overkill in terms of the HP. I really would have preferred, as I said, to see the Radiance. I just think the Radiance is a much better item at this stage than a Heart. I mean, even if you're going to get a Heart, I would almost suggest maybe going for something like the hell is the item's name? There's a fight actually going down the mid lane. Audio.
Whoa, GG's being
I mean, the Scardy I think would have been a better one, and yeah. Does look as though somebody's calling GG. I don't understand what's going on.
What? Was this actually... yeah, no, that was a real GG coming through. So, I think...
RFG decided to call it.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you start getting too far behind, sometimes it is good to just call that GG before you just drop into that mental abyss.